Welcome. Thank you for joining today's session on unlocking visibility in Microsoft Teams voice deployments. My name is Satyendra Sharma. I am a field CTO at Netrix in our digital workplace practice. I am very excited to talk about this session today. We have heard from a lot of clients on the lack of reporting and visibility into their Microsoft Teams environment, and we have a very exciting tool that we are going to cover in this session. So without further delay, let's get right into it. Today's agenda is pretty straightforward. We are going to do a very quick recap on how Microsoft Teams continues to lead the industry in terms of enterprise phone system. And then we are going to look at what are the common challenges and pain points we hear from clients when they use Microsoft Teams as their enterprise phone systems, or maybe they are planning to use Microsoft Teams as their phone system, but they cannot quite make the decision because there are certain data points and reports and visibility that may be keeping them away to make that decision to start the rollout. Then we are going to talk about the monitoring solution that we have to present. This is where we'll spend most of our time today. I want to go over some scenarios, some screenshots of the product to really dive into what the solution has to offer. So Microsoft Teams as your enterprise phone system. As you may know already, Microsoft Teams continues to be the leader in the voice and communication landscape. There are more than 20 million Teams phone users using Microsoft Teams as their enterprise phone platform. According to the Gartner Magic Quadrant report, Microsoft continues to be the UCaaS leader. And with all the new AI innovation, the platform continues to evolve, especially with the addition of the AI improvements that are getting added to the overall Microsoft 365 ecosystems, as well as Microsoft Teams as the communication and collaboration tool. And we have a little bit more details on that in the coming up slide. So when we talk about calling, no longer it's just a phone system, right? Like the requirements has evolved. The user demand has gone bigger, right? So there is a need of high flexibility. People want to be flexible. They want to be able to communicate and use whatever endpoint that is more convenient to them, right? So whether they're on the road, on the mobile, hot desking, they just expect technology to work. The middle point is intelligent and connected. So with all this AI innovation that's getting added to the platform, the intelligence is getting added. So there is more context-aware communication happening, reduced noise, how to make the communication more meaningful, more impactful, and then to keep it focused and keep the users productive. And not to forget security. Security continues to be the foundation of anything we do in today's day and age. Microsoft Teams is built on the foundation of the Microsoft 365 security stack. So it is by default secured, reliable. A lot of information can be found on the Microsoft Trust Center website if you want to take a deeper dive into how things are done and all the certifications and credentials on the platform. This is a very interesting insight shared by Forrester. So I just wanted to add here really quick. The interesting thing is the time saved by the productivity tool, right? As a Microsoft Teams, the study shows that it saves about 1.6 hours per week. And then when you multiply it by months and years, it's a huge amounts of labor. And the cost savings is huge. There is, in certain cases, 19.7 or more saving depending upon where the clients are moving from. The ROI is also huge. There is, 143% in this one example. But again, the point is it is creating a huge impact on businesses, saving them a lot of money in introducing efficiencies and reducing IT burden. Something else clients are looking for is no longer they want to manage a phone system, patch it, upkeep, hardware refresh, things like that. All those headache goes away with Microsoft Teams as your phone system. Everything is managed and kept up to date in the cloud. You just have to continue using it. There are a couple of testimony here according to the Forrester report. So I'm not going to read through all these details here. You'll get a copy of this after this webinar. So feel free to dive deeper into it. We touched a little bit on the AI introduction in the Microsoft stack, right? So AI is, again, something Microsoft is very heavily investing. It is revolutionizing how people are communicating, as well as is getting embedded into the Microsoft Teams ecosystem. Not only the AI elements are getting added to calling portion, but meetings, collaboration, automation, and chat are the other areas where Copilot is making a huge impact for the consumers. We can use technologies and capabilities like AI noise canceling, noise suppression, voice detection, face detection, intelligent recap, summary, transfer summary. When you have to transfer a call from user A to user B, now you can have a quick summary of what the call is all about so that the caller does not have to repeat everything they told to the first person and avoid the customer frustration type issues. So huge benefits come in or already here with Copilot and Microsoft Teams. We'd love to talk about it. If you have any questions about Copilot, feel free to reach out to us. We are doing a lot of sessions and helping clients deploy that in an efficient manner. So with that, let's take a look at some of the key challenges that we hear from clients. And again, this is not a complete list, so just wanted to highlight a few repeat offenders that we keep hearing about it all the time. The first one is limited data. So when it comes to reporting and analytics and any kind of data-driven trending, a longer term data is going to be the key secret sauce, right? A lot of the Microsoft Teams reporting is limited. It is kept for 30 days. It's not enough for clients to do any trending, make any business decisions. So that's one thing we hear all the time to be the biggest pain point using the out-of-the-box reporting. Real-time dashboarding. There is a lack of real-time visibility into not only how your queues are performing and how many calls are waiting, what is the abandoned call rate, but as well as how are your agents performing, who's taking the most call, who's taking the least call, as well as the non-queue users. How is your company doing overall when it comes to voice? Inbound call, outbound call, internal call. What is your trends? What countries are we communicating with? Things like that. So there is a lack of dashboards. SLA and performance tracking is missing. So, a lot of the times we hear that, hey, we build queues, we build auto attendants, super cool. But how do I measure how are they working, right? Like there is no way to measure if you have any of your threshold, like just to measure your queues against it, like how efficient it is. Disjointed data is the other one. There is a lot of different areas you can go and find data from. Microsoft 365, you've got obviously the Teams analytics section, you've got the call quality dashboard, you've got a Power BI, you've got Microsoft Graph. Like, where do you go to get the right data or connect the dots to get a comprehensive picture of the data and reporting that you want? So there is all these disconnects and disjoints. Agents insights is the other thing that we keep hearing. who's taking the most call in the queue, who's taking the least call, what is the availability like, how many agents are in the queue, do I need to move users around from the queue to take the load, things like that, right? So we don't have any good visibility into the agent stats. And customization. So every business is unique. Everybody has unique requirements, and same thing applies to reporting. So to be able to create the right filtering and customize the reporting to make it most impactful to your need is something that's also missing, right? So we're going to solve all these challenges with the tool that we are going to jump into in the next section. And talking about next section, we are going to talk about the monitoring and analytics solution that we have for Microsoft Teams. Just to do a quick comparison on how it stacks against the out-of-the-box experience. So like we talked, right? Like the 30-day limited data is probably the biggest pain point we hear. So we are able to solve that out of the gate. We do a much longer retention of data that allows you to do all kinds of trending, reporting, comparisons out of the box. We do it for 1 year, and it can be extended for longer duration if your business needs that. We are able to develop real-time and historical monitoring reports, get a real-time view on how operational efficient your organization is, or what are the pain points. We can do in-depth reporting and analytics on it, and we are going to look at some product screenshots here coming up for these specific reports. We can customize dashboards to meet your reporting needs. We can share the dashboards with other in the organization. We can also look at some of the reports that's going to give you the actionable insights for admin, which is actually super cool. So I want to touch on that. And just the longer data, right, to give you trending, performance analysis, SLAs, queues, things like that. So a lot of check boxes in the tool right out of the gate, and this is not the complete list. So we talk with the client, understand their needs, and we can customize the reports and dashboard to meet their requirements. The call analytics side of the tool is more focused on end user data. So it allows you to create all kinds of reports and dashboard tailored to your specific requirements. Longer retention, again, going to be a common topic across everything we talk about today. These reports can be pulled ad hoc, or it can be also scheduled for automated delivery at any given point of time, weekly, monthly. The tool will generate a report and send it to the designated email addresses in various types of file format it supports, from CSVs to PDF to PowerPoint to spreadsheet. It can, all the popular choice of file format is supported. The reports can be customized, and then the different dashboard widgets can be used. So we have different data points. We can stitch them all together to create the report that meets your requirement. The long-term trends and insights. So like I said earlier, we do it for 1 year out of the gate, and it can be extended longer if your business requires more than 1 year data retention. Real-time monitoring will give you live insights in your queues, some KPIs. What are your top performing queues? What are the worst performing queues? It can give you a visual representation of your graph overflow that I'm going to talk about. I have a picture about it to kind of dive deeper into it. And it can also do queues and agent statistics, like how are your queues performing, how are your agents performing. SLA report is a lot of clients ask about, hi, I need SLA reports of my things. So with all that, let's take a look at some of the examples from the tool directly. So here's a global voice usage page. As you can see, it can give you a one picture of overall how your organization is doing. We have this world map here indicating what countries we are talking with, what are the most countries we talk with, types of call, internal, inbound, outbound, categorized by this graph down below. And then on the right side, we have some of the key stats: total call, answered call, missed call, percentages, and also average time and peak time. And if you notice on the top right corner, we have this set at 3 months, right? So like I said, much longer retention period out of the gate. You can look at quarter over quarter trend, month over month trend very easily. The next one is the application flow. So here is a visual representation that I was talking about. You can take a look at all the calls that are coming into your auto attendant in Teams. What is happening with those calls? How many calls came in? How many calls got redirected to different queues? How many calls got abandoned, right? Like a key data point that people don't have visibility into. And what menu was selected off of that auto attendant by the caller, and what queue the caller went to. So you can see step-by-step process of the journey of the inbound call and where the call is going. And if the call is hitting your queues out of business hours, how many calls are those, and how many people actually leave the voicemail. And you can click on any of this bubble, and that populates the chart like down below, giving you the numerical status on what the call counts are. So really helpful information. I love this just to have like especially if you have like a lot of queues and nested queues and things like that, it becomes really difficult to track, where the calls are even going. We had a example, we deployed this for a client. All of a sudden, we were seeing a lot of calls were landing on the voicemail, right? And the client was not even aware it was happening. And then we used this tool to expose some configuration issues, that their overflow setting was too aggressive and all the inbound calls were getting pushed over to voicemail, and nobody was checking voicemail. So there was a big issue in the queue that we were able to identify. And typically, right, that's what happens when we deploy things, we configure a queue. Nobody's looking at them proactively to see how they're performing. Are there any configuration issues or optimization we need to do? And this tool is exposing all those things for you. Here is a example of the performance dashboard, the SLA performance dashboard on queues. So over here, we can build a dashboard with your threshold counters. What is an acceptable threshold for abandoned call, missed call, overflow call? And then this dashboard measures your queues against those defined threshold. And it will give you real-time stats on what is your SLA percentage. It is keeping track of all the calls came in, how many were answered, short missed, long missed, overflow. So this is the counter that I was talking about in that particular client's case, where the numbers are too high, and then upon further investigation, we found that queue was misconfigured. And then on the right side, we have some more data about calls, average talk, peak talk, just information that clients are looking for. So if you want to do any kind of stats on your average talk time, wait time, it's all here available, and we can pinpoint to specific queue and measure against it, or we can measure overall as an organization on how things are working. This is another queue report. So this is kind of breaking down all my queues here, and with the counters on how many calls are coming in, how many were answered, missed, overflow, abandoned, so on and so forth. One of the nice things over here is that if I want to look at how many calls were actually missed, right? Like out of the box, now you have to go somewhere else to find the data. But here I see that I have 6 missed call, and I can click on this hyperlink right next to it, and that will populate this report down below with all the data I need. What queue the call was coming in for, date, time, who was the caller, what number they called, how long did they wait, and then call type and answered or not. Obviously, it's a missed call, so it was not answered. But now I have a information readily available on all the callers that tried to call, but they never got to speak with anybody. Now I can take that data and maybe do an outbound reach and call them back to see what the situation was, right? So like just one dashboard giving you all the key stats, abandoned call, missed call, overflow. You can pull all the data, all the caller right from here, and then take necessary action on it. Monitoring queues in real time. This is super interesting because oftentimes when people are a part of like agent is part of multiple queues or you have too many queues, you don't have a good visibility overall how your queues are performing and how many agents are in what queue available, especially if they're in multiple queue, right? Like if they're taking calls off another queue, but all of a sudden your sales queue has no free agent, then that's a risk. So we are able to measure all the queues and define the threshold of what is the criticality on the available agent count, and then the tool will alert you, right? So all these queues are flagged as critical because I don't have any available agents. So if any call comes in, it's gonna go over to overflow, voicemail, or any whatever call routing you have defined. And then here you see how many agents are opted in, opted out. So if you want to go into the queue, manually move people around, or ping them, or opt in as an admin, you can do so. Or you can even like move people around. So if one queue is not having much calls in it, you can move people to the other queue just so you have the balance and the queues are properly staffed so you don't miss any calls. So now we are looking into the reports. So all the pictures we saw was more of like the dashboard section. Now we are looking at the reporting section. In the report section, we can create all kinds of reporting, lots of different data points. Just to show a couple of examples, here we have a global summary of the agent. So how many agents I have, what queue they are part of, and how many calls they're taking, what is the average talk time, inbound call type, outbound call stats, and overall general statistics. So same thing we can do for all queues, put it in one report, or you can narrow it down to a specific queue. And again, you can schedule these reports on weekly, monthly, whatever your requirement is, to be delivered to designated email addresses. So if you have a sales queue that needs to go to a sales manager, you can just build a report on that queue, gets delivered to sales manager on a weekly basis. And down below is the file format that we support. So we've got PDF, CSV, spreadsheet, PNG, PowerPoint, Word document. So you can literally generate the report into a PowerPoint format and then take it to your presentation, right? So super, super easy. We also have a reporting more geared towards like executives or C-level folks who don't really want to see like all the neat details, but they want to see overall how are things working out. So here we can see we have an example of pie chart for different queues, and then the key stats right next to it, and then the global summary on top. Very easy to digest for executives and make the business decisions to make sure everything is working at a very optimal level. And to wrap this session, I just want to touch on some of the additional features we have. We talked about real-time dashboard analytics. It supports single sign-on, so it uses your Entra ID, long-term data retention 1 year out of the box. It can be accessed through a web-based interface, or it can be embedded inside of your Teams client application as an app on the left rail. So giving admins different modalities to access the data. Role-based access control, so we can have admins, we can have reports only, we can have dashboard only type users. So the key benefit is, as an admin, you can create everybody the report they need and just give the department leader a read-only permission on that specific report. So we are not sharing all the reports with them, but they will have access to just the specific reports we create for them, keeping them focused. You can create report, you can share report, you can share dashboard, so people don't have to go and create their own reports. You can create a set of report and just share it with everybody. There is also a wallboard option. So if you have a dedicated TV monitor, we can create a slideshow essentially with all the reports you want, and it will cycle through it, giving them the real-time data they need. The tool also has a very robust auditing in it. So anything done in the tool, whether it's creating a report, accessing certain section inside of the tool, everything is logged with date, timestamp, and the user identity. So if we have to go back and review some changes or any audit requirement, everything is there. It does come with ongoing support. So once we work with clients, we build the tool, we create all the dashboards and report. If there is any questions, we are obviously there as an ongoing support to provide any support needed. However, as a client, you do get access to your own tenant, your own tool set. You can create as many report you want, as many dashboard you want. There is no limitation there, and you can't really break anything, right? Because it's working off of just the reporting data. And the tool is enhancing. So we are adding more and more data points, widgets, data sets into it to make the report dashboard much more impactful for you. So it continues to evolve as we are working towards it. And there is a lot more capability into it. So if you are interested about the tool, want to learn more on how it can help you, or if you want to see a live demo, we are doing that for a lot of clients. So please feel free to reach out, and we would be more than happy to support you to provide all the right information you need to make the best decision for your team's phone journey. So with that, we are going to wrap up this session. Like I said, please contact us if there is any questions. We would be more than happy to do the demo. And see you all in the next session. Thank you for watching.